What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade coming to y'all with that instant hot topic basketball analysis on the Analysis Playground, exclusively, of course, on YouTube, going live on there right now. And we're going to talk about the hottest topic in the NBA this morning. It's early in the morning, not even 10 o'clock over here. And Nico Harrison is supposed to be getting fired today by the Dallas Mavericks. I know a lot of Mavericks fans are happy because of that, because this is something that they've been saying and they've been wanting for a long period of time, and it's finally about to happen. Once they got rid of the fan favorite Luka Doncic, everybody been wanting him to get fired since then, even though the organization seemed like they wanted it to happen too, and it wasn't just him, he still made that decision. The NBA was just going crazy last year. They couldn't believe it until they seen Luka in the Lakers uniform in the press conference. And now he's been balling out to start this year. And the Mavericks have been terrible, and they just lost to the Bucks on top of that yesterday. And it's just looking like they're going in the wrong direction. And now people are saying they should trade Anthony Davis and they should not even wait on Kyrie Irving because Cooper is so much younger and that team might not be good anyway. And even if they're healthy, they're not looking like a championship team. And this is a team that hasn't really proved that they can stay healthy in the first place. So why even keep it together? You should just consider trading these two guys while you can still get something valuable for them. And it's mainly because Nico Harrison chose to trade Luka. Luka's not even 27. He's not even 28. He's not even 30 years old. He's still in his mid 20s and still was one of the best players in the league. And you just went to the NBA Finals and you choose to get rid of that for a guy that wasn't even guaranteed to get. And it's going to take him some years to get better at this beautiful game of basketball in Cooper Flag. And he hasn't really been that amazing either. Even though he did have a good game against the Bucks, it hasn't really showed enough to where we're going crazy over Cooper. Like people made it seem like he's going to be this guy that's going to come in averaging 20 points a game without even having to break a sweat. And that hasn't been the case. He's been struggling. So, it is a situation that we're happy that it's coming to an end. Like I said, most Mavericks fans and the organization have been looking at this and it's just been a mess. And it just makes sense to get rid of them. The fans have been saying it for the longest. You do have to please the fans. They're buying the tickets. They're going to the games. They're watching on TV. And you just get tired of hearing them say, fire Nico. They just haven't got over it. They just feel that this should be the decision because it didn't make sense in the first place, especially when Luka was one of the best players in the league and they just didn't get that in return. But I would say Anthony Davis is great, but he misses too many games. He misses too many games, and he's only getting older. Like I said, Anthony Davis is already in his 30s. Kyrie is already in his 30s. They're not even on the same timeline as Cooper Flag. And if they're healthy, you look at it like, are they really one of the top 4 or 5 best teams in the Western Conference? The West is only getting deeper, and the West is getting younger. So do you really want to keep going with this two-timeline approach and still not know what you're going to be, still not know what you're going to have? Or would you rather just say, well, Anthony Davis still has a good value on the market. Kyrie has to prove himself a little bit, but we just gave him an extension. And I was a guy that said it last year. If I had to be honest with you, I think that they're not going to keep Kyrie that long because we just don't know the type of player he's going to be. We just not going to see him be that healthy this year. And even if he can play himself into what he was before, is that really enough for them to get over, to be a championship team? And that's what they are saying. We feel like we still can compete for titles. How you doing, Brian Cruz? They still feel like they can be a championship team. I just don't see it. I just don't see it with Kyrie, Anthony Davis, and Cooper Flag. And then Klay Thompson hasn't been good either. He didn't even play that good last night either. So they have Daniel Gafford. He's been banged up a lot. Derek Lively also has been banged up every year. This team just looked like it's slowly falling apart. And we just have to accept that this is just a good roster, not a great one. And that's just the reality of the situation. And if that's the case, Nico put majority of this roster together. And most people would say, well, they still have enough to make the playoffs. Does it really matter if you can make the playoffs if you're not going to the championship anyway? that's always the bittersweet part of being a fan. You always have hope. You always want to believe, but the reality is, I just don't see the Dallas Mavericks being a championship team either way. I just don't see it. And since Anthony Davis and Kyrie might still be some of the best players at their position, it does make sense for them to probably lose this season because they're doing it already, and just find a way to get rid of those guys to be in the Oklahoma type of situation where you have a guy that you can build around in Cooper Flag, and you can add some young pieces that's around his age to grow with them now, and just worry about putting the roster together with a new GM and have more of a hands-on approach with the roster compared to just letting somebody handle it and do whatever they want to do with it. And that's what they did with Nico. They let him make a decision, they let him make a choice, and it's been haunting, their whole organization ever since. And it's just time for them to just put this whole situation it's just time for them to put this in the past, instead of just continuing to let this thing go on and on and on. You have a nice day too, bro. But that's all I really have to say about the situation is that, man, Nico Harrison really has been a mess for this organization. They just really haven't been able to figure out how to figure this situation out in general. It's like it just been lingering and lingering and lingering. And it's just been frustrating for the fans knowing that once we traded Luka, that's probably our championship this decade. Once we let him go, and once we made it to the finals, we just needed to make a couple tweaks. I know that Klay Thompson got paid a lot of money, but that was also a Nico Harrison decision to bring him in. And then you still look at it like, was that even really going to be enough for them to compete in the Western Conference and then get out of the Western Conference and then still be able to win the championship against a team in the East? They couldn't do that 2 years ago, so they might still have trouble with that now because OKC really match up well against them since they got Hartenstein and Caruso. So, it's all hypothetical. It's all fun conversations. That's what this channel is about. That's what basketball is about. It's part of, realizing what you see and hoping at the same time. And just looking at it from that perspective, it is kind of funny to see, Nico actually have to really find a way to endure this situation. I know I messed up. I know I made a mistake, but I have to live with it. And the fans are saying this is the punishment. You betrayed us by giving away our hero. He was supposed to be the franchise savior. He was supposed to be the guy that was going to be the light in the tunnel. And we lose that for a guy that's great in Anthony Davis, but not a guy that we can be building a whole generation of legacy with, because that's almost a 10-year difference between the two. So all I can say is it's crazy. It's reality, and Nico is finally gone. I do want to know who they're going to hire. I do want to know what direction they're going to go in. Like I said, in my personal opinion, I think they should just try to build and go on a clean slate and just try to find a way to start all over again and just get rid of the guys that's not in the age group of Cooper Flag, and just look at it like we lost this battle. We lost the war. It's time for us to get a mulligan. It's time for us to renege and go back to the drawing board and figure out what we need, what we should keep, what we should get rid of, and just build more towards going in a different direction in the future. But Nico, he knew it was inevitable. He knew this was going to happen eventually. He knew that this roster made a little bit of sense, but not complete sense. And that's part of the job, is figuring out the talent, figuring out what to keep, what not to keep, what to trade, what not to trade, who to sign and who not to sign. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. And if we have to get rid of Luka, then we should be fine with getting rid of you, is what the fans are going to say. And it'll be a realistic way to look at it. It'll be a realistic way to see it. But that's how the cookie crumbled today, unfortunately, for Nico. And we'll see if he can get another job. We'll see if he can, try to find a way to build up his name and his face and his value with another organization. And if he can't, well, now he's just going to be remembered as the guy that traded Luka and the guy that destroyed the Mavericks franchise for about a decade. Because it's going to take a while for the Mavericks to get back to being, a playoff team and be a championship team at that. And that could take another 3 to 4 to 5 years based off who they sign, who they trade for, and who they draft. And that's something that the Mavericks were looking at it like, we rather have Luka than Cooper Flag. And looking at it right now, Luka's averaging 40. And their record is way better than the Mavericks. So Luka probably, if he was healthy, would help this Mavericks team and be above 500, while Cooper Flag is still finding his way in the NBA. So this is going to be a long-term problem, and there's no real short-term solution to be great as a team and as organization again. And that's something that the fans understand, and that's something that the organization is just now seeing and just making the move on. And this is a decision that can curse your franchise or bless your franchise. And they ended up getting more curses than blessings so far. But they still can churn things around. They still can change some things, and they can still give the Mavericks fan hope in the future. They just got to start by getting rid of Nico and going in a different direction. And that will be the best start. Comment, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell to get the analysis when it first come out. I also do conversation video just like this about various NBA only topics, and also do other topics too that's basketball related. I also do breakdowns of legends, current legends, rookies, and also future stars. Also do mock drafts and draft coverage. Not only that, I also have over 3,000 plus videos already on my channel that you can watch and you can enjoy, and it's all for free. Not only that, I also try to upload videos every day throughout the day to always give you something to watch and look forward to when it comes to basketball and NBA content. Other than that, y'all stay blessed up. Y'all stay good. Thanks for checking out the video. Thanks for spending time with me. Thanks for caring and showing that you love what I have to say about this beautiful game of basketball. It's been fun. It's been enjoyable. This has been a good year so far in basketball last year and coming into this season. And the season has been very fun and good so far. Other than that, y'all stay blessed up. Y'all stay good. Thank y'all for appreciating the content for what it is and continuing to come back. Thank y'all for making time for me. Thank y'all for the love and the support and the respect that y'all have for me. And all I can say is I hope y'all have a good and blessed life. I hope things are going good. And hopefully y'all can, solve the ones and the problems that y'all have before they get out of control. And hopefully y'all can go back to having a good day if y'all had a bad one so far. But this is a time where the Mavericks fans are smiling, they're laughing, they're jumping up and down because they wanted this man gone for almost a year now. And now it's finally happening. So congratulations to the Mavericks fans, and we'll see what y'all do in the future.